Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for March 2026. Your first row is going to represent what cycle is closing at this time. I'll explain that in a minute. You have this ultimate fulfillment card. It says you are now entering into a time of peace, happiness, and emotional fulfillment. You have this unlocking solutions card. It says through compromise, you will create a successful outcome you are hoping for, which is good. We're in between eclipses right now, and so I changed up the rows a little bit this month to reflect that, and the next eclipse will be on March 3rd in Virgo. But like I said, this first row is going to represent a cycle that could be closing. Usually in between eclipses, we could be closing out a cycle. So you have the Ace of Wands, the Hermit, and the Queen of Pentacles here. I don't know that it's like you're starting something new, really. Here, Aquarius, which kind of makes sense. We can close. You could have already closed something out on the last eclipse that we had in Aquarius in your sign, in February, and now you could just be having a passionate new beginning. And it looks like fulfillment here. I don't know why my camera froze, but there we go. Now it's not frozen, and right here we have that ultimate fulfillment card. So again, a lot of you could be finding fulfillment through making some sort of change or having some sort of new beginning, and so that's what we're going to look at. Again, you have the Ace of Wands, the Hermit, and the Queen of Pentacles. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. I feel like you're just ready for the new. You have three aces in this reading. You have the Ace of Swords and Ace of Cups as well, plus the Judgment card. Judgment, of course, can represent a wake-up call or, kind of a rebirth in some ways. The Ace of Wands, again, is kind of similar because this castle in the background here is crumbling, and the Ace of Wands represents out with the old, in with the new. You have the Hermit. You have that card that says you're now entering into a time of peace, happiness, and emotional fulfillment. He has his inner light inside this lantern here, and he has been on a long journey. I always say, he's been through a dark night of the soul, and now he has found his inner light on that journey, and he kind of needs to shine that light out into the world. And it makes perfect sense to me for you, Aquarius, with Pluto in your sign. As I've been saying, your job is definitely going to be to shine bright and to shine your light out into the world. Again, the more of a living example that you can be, the better for Aquarius. It's going to lead to a lot more success, happiness, fulfillment, all that stuff. So anything you can do to put yourself out there more would be a good idea. We also have that card that says Unlocking Solutions. One of my favorite books for tarot is The Fearless Tarot by Elliot. He's here on YouTube, and in his book, he talks about how the Hermit, his feet might be frozen at the top of this mountain, and he could put his light down by his feet, and he could set himself free. And so he needs to share his inner light with the world to be able to set himself free, which could mean just being a living example, like I said, and I feel that's all you have to do. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is resourcefulness and gathering your resources. I really wouldn't surprise me if you are more financially focused over the coming years, not even just, this month, but for years to come. Again, this is going to be a good thing for you, Aquarius, because I think you have a great opportunity to create true financial security where you're not having to worry about money so much and all that other stuff. The other thing that that's kind of popping into my head here, Aquarius, is we have this rabbit. And, rabbit, if you read Animal Speaks by Ted Andrews, he says that the rabbit energy can be where you make a leap and then pause, and then you make another big leap and then pause. So I kind of get that feeling here. I really never ever say that on this card, but it's kind of popping into my head that the month of March, even starting now, again, this video will be published on February 22nd. And so even if you're watching it early, you might notice how the last week of February all the way through March, you kind of make a leap and then maybe there's a pause. This could be with the things that you work on or the things that you're creating. And those pauses are probably good. One thing I will say is, again, we have Uranus entering into Gemini in April. There's something about Uranus and Gemini where I think we need that kind of processing time where we have to crunch the numbers. That's why the pauses are probably going to be important for you air signs. I haven't done the other air signs yet, but I have a feeling they might get something similar to this because I just feel that processing time is extra important. You might be able to discover better answers. You might be able to get more in touch with your feelings as well. It's like if you're making a lot of progress in a relationship very quickly, it's like a pause, and that doesn't mean you have to like ignore the person or something like that. It might just be a pause where things stay the same for a little bit of time or something like that. That pause might be important to get in touch with yourself, right? With the Ace of Wands, you have the Three of Cups, which you have twice, all about people, right? Three of Cups is your community. It's simply the people in your life. And we were talking all about you being a living example. And it's pretty simple, Aquarius. Like I said, I think the more you can inspire others just by living your best life, the better. With the Hermit, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, it's like time to come down from the mountain, basically. It's time for him to come out of isolation. The Wheel of Fortune, yeah, I mean, sure, it can represent a change in your fortunes and all this other stuff. But I think with the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes it really says that we have to live life on purpose. That's more the feeling I get off the Wheel of Fortune. Most people just, I call it the washing machine of life. They just like get tossed around all over the place with the Wheel of Fortune. But if we live in the middle of the Wheel of Fortune, there are 3 wheels on the Wheel of Fortune. And if we're in the middle here, then those wheels on the outside, they spin around us, and we can see opportunities that come our way. We can see challenges that could potentially come our way. And then we have more control over our life. So that's more the feeling I get for you here, Aquarius. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, very good for money. Card of gratitude and luxuries. Again, there's something about 2026 that I feel expressing gratitude or practicing gratitude is very beneficial. The key word for the 2026 readings that I did at the beginning of the year was gratitude. So I think the more we practice expressing gratitude for the good things that are happening, the more good things will happen in our lives. Next in the area, what are we doing? Oh yeah, what is fated for you at this time again? In between eclipses, we can experience fated opportunities. You have this practice freedom card. It says release the weight of judgment. Yes, that's basically what I was talking about the whole entire first row. With the Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, is needing to live your own life, but needing to live life on purpose. Again, if you see an opportunity and it looks like a good opportunity, you wouldn't be thinking, should I take this opportunity? You would live life on purpose. You would just grab the opportunity and run with it, and you wouldn't have all these thoughts about it, right? You have this Find Your Haven card. It says, there's a place of wonder waiting just for you. Yeah, I think you're kind of creating your own reality on purpose. And maybe that's another way we could put it. You have that Judgment card as your first card. And we'll talk about it more in a second. But those people are being asked to leave an old life and step into a new one. So I feel that freedom, of course, is going to be a big word for you. Especially with Uranus leaving Taurus in about a month, a little bit longer. But what I would say is Uranus and Taurus wants fixed signs, you being one of them, to create more freedom and more time for yourself and, doing more of the things that you love to do no matter what, without thinking about how people feel about it, right? The only thing that matters is how you feel about the choices that you're making. You have the Judgment card, the King of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So the Judgment card, this is your higher self angel calling you to purpose. They're standing in these coffins, which is their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And your higher self wants you to step into a new life, right? I think that this is, again, a world that Aquarius is creating. So it's like you are, but through your choices is what I would say. And through not caring what anyone else thinks about your choices as well. I don't really think that Aquarius has a problem with that, but I really don't think Aquarius cares for the most part. But at the same time, sometimes we care a little bit, right? And there you go. My watch just is dinging as I'm saying that. So I think that practicing it's not really non-attachment to outcome, but just what people think about what you're doing could be important. You have the King of Swords, which could be you, Aquarius, showing up in this reading. You also show up on the Wheel of Fortune, so whenever you show up as yourself, kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. The King of Swords is like knowledge and wisdom. It's almost like there's nothing more for you to know, is what he's saying to me. So for any of you that are seeing opportunities or that have an opportunity in mind that you want to work on, he's kind of like saying to me, to you, that it's like everything that you're going to know about it until you actually do it, right? Like if we are looking at an opportunity, we can learn about it till the cows come home. But until we actually take the opportunity, follow through on it, and experience it, we know nothing. So, what I would say here is this reading kind of makes me feel like you either have an idea or you do have an opportunity that could lead to ultimate fulfillment with that ultimate fulfillment card. But again, following through on it is going to be the thing that kind of teaches you the most. And so I think follow through is important. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is staying stuck, self-imposed prison. She's staying stuck in these 8 swords, and the problem with her is she's only seeing one way to do things when there are many. So she just has to realize that there are many solutions to her problem, her situation, and she needs to open up to those new solutions. With the Judgment card, you have the Ten of Wands. Yes, we need to be able to see. I think this is a big thing right now for whatever reason. Ten of Wands, it's like I feel like 2 things here. Either we are too close to a problem, like when you're right up against a problem, you can't really see around it. It's like imagine if you were against a wall, right? And it was only as big as your face. If you were right up against it, you would think the wall went on forever. But if you step back, then you can see around the wall. You could see that it's only this big, right? And so that's like for some of you. For others, I think this could just be doing too much, right? If you're too busy, if you're filling your days with busy work and things like that, then it could be harder to see what your purpose is or understand it. So slowing down this month might be a good idea. Now we have a Mercury retrograde starting on February 26th, and it's going to go till, basically all of March, you could say. It ends on March 20th, but, the 20th is like the last week of March, so you might as well say the entire month, right? And this retrograde could be slowing you down enough to, see around the wall. And, I don't know, I kind of feel good about the Ten of Wands. I mean, I do like the Ten of Wands. He's very close to achieving his goal. He's about to reach his home, and he's about to have his harvest, so again, this could be good. With the King of Swords, you have all 4 aces now, which is pretty crazy. Pretty much everyone has had multiple aces in this set of readings. If you remember, at the beginning of the year, in the 2026 readings, I said I felt like this year starts in March. So maybe that's why everybody's getting these aces, is because 2026 really starts in March, even though it's a retrograde, doesn't matter. And there could be a lot of new opportunities. Having all 4 aces is clearly something new that's coming in for you, like a new beginning, new potential, new opportunity, whatever. I think it's going to be good for you in general. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Moon card. It's too much fear. I've been saying this since 2023. Yes, I understand it's 2026, obviously. Believe it or not, I have to clarify this. So yes, I know that we're in 2026. I am saying since 2023 until 2033, which is 7 years from now, or whatever the math is, I don't care. Until that time, I think a lot of people are going to worry more about the future. And my concern, and I've been saying this for the last 2-3 years, is that people are going to get to 2033 and they're going to look backwards and they're going to say, I did nothing. All I did was worry about everything, right? So I think the moon, it's like a small obstacle. I think it's we kind of all need to get out of our heads. And even I do this. Again, I'm far from freaking perfect, right? I fell on my head when I was 10 years old. And it ruined my brain, basically. So, I still worry about the future, but I catch myself, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about saying okay, it's about observing your thoughts and just saying okay, I'm worrying too much about the future. I'm putting too much pressure on myself. And I'm putting too much pressure on this relationship or this project or this thing, and I need to let it go. And trust me, I have a hard time letting go. So I'm right there with you, Aquarius, right? And I'm a Pisces, and so what I would say is we just have to practice, right? We don't have to be perfect. We just have to catch ourselves when we're caring too much about the outcome, and we have to say to ourselves, this is just not going to matter in a few years, right? Next, we are going to look at where you have the best control this month. You have this, today is the day card. It says it is time to begin the journey. There you go. You have this card. It says disappointment is not the end. It says there's hope even in the darkest of nights. So if you have been disappointed by something, there's still hope. I would also say that if you're watching this before the 26th, definitely a good time to get started. Anything we start before a retrograde, is perfectly fine to work on during the retrograde. Even though we're in the shadow, doesn't matter. right? Again, I always say to people, if we followed all the astrology rules, we would live in bubbles and we wouldn't get anything done. So, really, I think that it's perfectly fine to start something now. But one thing I would say to you, Aquarius, is you do have that judgment card. So even if you start during the retrograde, like if you're working on something that you worked on like years ago, it's perfectly fine to like revisit a project you never finished in the past during a retrograde, and to finish it during the retrograde, or to revisit an idea, right, and attack it from a different angle. And I think that would be perfectly fine as well, like even during the entire month of March. The thing is that you have the Hangman, which says you have control over the perspective. And the Hangman is looking at something from a new perspective. So Mercury retrograde in the first place can bring in new perspectives on things that we're working on, that we're creating, or it can bring in new perspectives on things that we already have worked on in the past. And so if you're gaining like enlightenment, like he is here, then I would, think about it. You have that ultimate fulfillment card. You have these 4 aces. It's kind of like, I feel like your reading is about like one thing, the 4 aces. It's about one opportunity or one truth in your life, something you want to create or work on. And if you're gaining a new perspective on that thing, then that's where you could find a lot of fulfillment at this time. But you have the Two of Pentacles, and you also have the Ten of Wands. So Two of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands would say that you have control over your busyness, how busy you are, right? He is spinning plates. He's doing too much, right? And so, like I said, sometimes when we are too close to a problem, or if we're doing too much busy work, we don't really get anything done. 2026 and 2025 as well. A lot of the readings talked about efficiency. So like not wasting time on busy work or things that don't really matter. And I feel we should all be kind of thinking about that. And, if we're doing things that are just, a waste of time, I really don't know what else to say about it. If we're doing things that just waste our time, we should probably be very careful of wasting our time on those things. And we should look for other things to be doing. You have the Four of Pentacles. I've been saying this for 2 years as well. It's like fortune favors the bold. He's staying in a safe position. I struggle with this, Aquarius, because it's like, is it really that big of a deal if you maintained your current life? Like maybe your current life is fine. And so is it really that big of a deal if you didn't change? Maybe not. I don't know. I just feel that for Aquarius. Like, is the universe saying like Aquarius absolutely has to undergo a transformation? No. I just think the universe is saying like Aquarius could undergo a transformation if they wanted to. He's holding on to these 4 pentacles, and those 4 pentacles are kind of like a comfort zone for him. As I always say, it's like sometimes it's bad, sometimes the 4 pentacles isn't bad, because, it's like, some of you, it's like, if you're doing fine, then it's not a big deal, right? But I just feel the 4 Pentacles is saying there is more to life if you want it, right? And so that's how I feel about that. With the Hangman, you have the Nine of Swords. A lot of Nine of Swords energy in these readings as well. Again, that's why the first row is what cycle is closing, because in between eclipses, we usually close out a cycle. The Nine of Swords is usually like Groundhog's Day. Every day is the same. And so the Nine of Swords wants us to get out of bed and gain a new perspective with that Hangman so that we can change our life. And, excuse me, a lot of you could be doing that. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles could be like good news or a solid opportunity as well. Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness. Again, there's something about this reading about, like with that King of Swords, saying it's like you've learned enough about something, but you're actually going to learn by doing something. I know that sounds obvious, but, that's really what I get off of these cards. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups sometimes I feel is boredom. Most people read this as like thinking the grass is greener on the other side when it's not. And but really, he's tried something like 3 times before, and he's being offered another opportunity to try something again. And he should probably take that opportunity because, again, he's learned the past 3 times. He can apply what he learned to this new opportunity, and he can probably be a lot more successful this 3rd, 4th, 5th time around, right? So if you're getting similar opportunities, I would take a second look. Next, we're going to look at the good stuff in March. You have this family room. It says private matters, private family matters, comfortable matters, kept secret, inner soul, intimacy, private discussions, and retreat. You have this ending card. It says loss, letting go, over, no, death, irrevocable conclusion, afterlife, destruction, the end of a phase, which is probably pretty good based off of, the 4 aces and the judgment card especially. You could be experiencing some sort of ending that leads to this positive new beginning. Again, I do feel like your reading is different. It's like pretty much everybody else had like a clear cycle that they're ending. You kind of do because you have the Wheel of Fortune, but for you, it looks like you're already starting something new, by the time you're watching this reading. So if you're already starting something new, I think I would just keep going with whatever that is. You have the 3 of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. 3 of Cups is celebration, happiness, community, spending time with people in your life. All that would be good for you with the 3 of Cups. It is a good card for celebrating. You have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is like a victory or big success coming in for you. It can also be like some sort of truth being exposed. So, but I just feel like a success coming in off of this Ace of Swords for you. The Ace of Swords is above the mountains here, and the sword above the mountains says you could be overcoming an obstacle. I'm pretty sure in the last weekly reading that I did for you, which is probably for the week of the 23rd of February, that you also, I said like the same thing, that you could be overcoming some sort of obstacle that you've been dealing with. You have the Ace of Cups. Again, Ace of Cups can be your emotions overflowing, being very happy, can also be an offer of love. There's like a little bit of love here, but I would say that this reading is more about you. Here, Aquarius, it's all about you. It's all about, some sort of new beginning, new opportunity that you are creating that could lead to ultimate fulfillment. We have this big ass cup with a sun on it here. So it's like similar to the Ace of Cups. And here you go. I literally said the sun and pulled out the sun. So with the 3 of Cups, you have the sun. Again, 3 Cups you've been getting with me since 2025 as well. I've been talking to you about concentrated connections. Seems to be very important for you, Aquarius. Again, you're like the only sign that gets it, like every single reading, that you should be focusing on, those connections that lift you up, that really support you, that really make you feel good. And that's what I would focus on here. With the Ace of Swords, you have the King of Cups. The King of Cups can be like emotional fulfillment, happiness, joy as well. The King of Cups has very deep emotions. You have the Ace of Cups, so, again, I would keep an eye on your emotions. The thing is you have 2 cards here that would represent keeping an eye on your emotions. The 8 of Swords, she is standing in a very shallow pool of water, and so the 8 of Swords says she could be making a bigger deal out of her situation than she needs to. That shallow pool of water is like shallow emotions, and it's not saying that she is shallow, but it's just saying she's making a bigger deal out of something than she needs to. The Moon, same thing. The Moon is about releasing emotional armor. So the King of Cups wants us to feel our emotions, but he just wants to make sure that we don't drown in our emotions. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, like a new beginning, new adventure, pretty much everything that we've already said in the reading. So, sure, there's like some sort of new adventure in your life that looks good. You have this Grasshopper. It's a situation in the balance that requires careful handling. I do feel like we have to be careful. You don't have it, but a lot of people have been getting the 7 of Swords as well. And the 7 of Swords, he's carrying the swords by their tips. So he's doing something carefully. What this could say is that, number one, you need to protect your ideas, especially with the 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is good. But 3 of Cups would say only share your ideas with people who support them, right? And if you don't have people who support your ideas, then don't share them. You have this Bear. It says danger, especially in money matters. Money looks pretty good in this reading. I think money has looked good for pretty much everyone. But as I've said before, I don't be wasting money for sure. You have this broken bridge. It says unsuccessful outcome to your problems, 8 of Swords. The problem with the 8 of Swords is we can have a problem, we try to solve it, and then we think we can't solve it, but really we just need a new perspective, right? So I think that this card is saying, it's not saying that you won't be able to overcome a problem, it's saying look for a new perspective on the problem. You have this success card, which is great. We do see a lot of success here. 4 aces, the sun, really good stuff. So I do feel there could be a lot of success here. And finally, you have this cracked cup. It says dissatisfaction with life. I really like this card because sometimes I think dissatisfaction is the thing that gets us to change. So, this could actually be good. But this looks pretty good here, Aquarius. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to like, leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your month.